Good day, everyone. I am really excited to be part of the Layer 123 flagship event 2020 during these challenges, but obviously very exciting times of technology. About myself, my name is Saad Sheikh, and I work as Chief Architect within Infrastructure Planning and Architecture Design team of STC. My team main role here is to define, plan, design, and deploy the common shared programmable and automated infrastructure, all the way from core to the edge. In my today's session, I will be speaking about our 5G journey so far and how cloud, AI, and new software architectures are driving it, especially in the context of the immersive technologies that are making way like Open RAN, edge, disaggregated and distributed networks towards a AI-driven network. So let's start. Before I delve into the technical architectures, it is important to understand our journey to build analogy to see why, as owners of the critical infrastructures, the service providers are even more vital in a post COVID 19 world. The triad where we need to really focus in the value chain is environment, economy, and ecosystem. That is why this diagram is worth a dime, right? To we what we really need to achieve is to make a fully distributed and interconnected system, a way to connect all these systems, something on the on-prem, something on the public cloud. So the importance of the transport and orchestration is very important. A way to process data at the edge, as all the fruits will be hang along the branches of these trees. Common infrastructure will serve as the stem of the infrastructure with all of the common apps residing over there. And finally, network is the root of this whole ecosystem to make the network wires using the future transport networks. It is important to understand 5G journey not in the horizontal or 3GPP view, but in the context of the infrastructure and software. Today, we have already deployed thousands of 5G sites using the 3GPP release 15 NSA architectures, running EMBB, FWA use cases, and gain a very useful insights on the 5G services bundles and customer expectations. We have also launched the 5G SA core using the vendor reference architectures and same time enhancing our existing NSA architectures using the IMS Plus edge services, video games, and industrial IoT. In the coming 24 months, we expect to build a complete and thriving 5G network end-to-end that supports vision of Open RAN, standalone core, edge, and slicing. This is very important vision to achieve to offer services to the vertical segments of the market in a fully disaggregated way, right? However, in order to achieve these visions, there are three main directions where we need to evolve over 5G. These are software and intelligent automation. So we need to really understand how we will build this application using the new architectures, which will support observability and the launch of the new use cases, right? As per customer requirements, like through slicing. Then on the infrastructure, the new partnerships and model, especially with the use of the immersive edge, open RAN and open networking. In terms of connectivity, we have already seen with 5G increased bandwidths to the customer, but we really need to really foster the connectivity and NAS models in the form of APIs, offering connectivity in an agile fashion. The focus on video enterprise in verticals is what will make 5G a real success. However, the use of cloud and AI in the telco is natively quite different than in IT. And the main reasons are due to the huge legacy investments and footprints that we have to bring and to evolve in a hybrid fashion. Software designs to deliver a high performance, software working practice, for example, end-to-end view versus something which is bits and pieces, taking components and integrating them. Regulations and SLA is again another direction. In brevity, as we nail down our 5G journey and to assure we do not experience the same brawl that we experienced in the NFV phase one or the virtualization world, We are trying to solve the 5G issues at neither at transition nor at destination, but at the source. The most important things where we are really trying to figure out and applying our solutions is selection of the open source solutions. This is something where the clear specs and standards in the form of CNTT is really helping us out. Then how to really promote openness versus the fork solution, and how we can really, for example, if today we are putting the vendor's reference architecture, how to evolve to an open solution over time, then to benchmark or certify applications and to understand whether they are meeting the vision of an open infrastructure is very, very important, right? Tenant SLA air slicing is something for sure we all are waiting in the release 16. Now it is coming mature. And then the use of ML and AI using the open cloud models and to disrupt the supply chains, right? To especially in the introduction of nimble players in the open RAN, edge NAC, and disaggregated networks. Then on the operation side, the top views are for the incremental software patch, which we call the cold patch, how we will encourage the native CRDs and the port definition files to implement it instead of going to a lengthy and a manual process to go do it, to test it, to pre-install, install, test, benchmark. Then on the upgrades, the major upgrades, you're applying the use of Canary and the digital twins, right? And for 5G orchestration, journey towards a clear and policy and model-driven networks is very, very important. When it comes to deploy the 5G, journey to 5G success start with finding ways to deploy it in a standard, open, and flexible way using partners who adhere to the basic cloud native principles. Like other T1 operators, today we are focusing to define a phased journey to reach the vision of high performance and highly conformant multi-vendor container platform. The first phase today is to introduce the new features like IoT, NPM, TSN, and increase 5G capacity and coverage using the reference architectures. In parallel, we are investing heavily to build a carrier standard platform which is which can build the promise of the future using PaaS and DB broker and the open data platforms. This step is vital if we have to achieve the vision of the machine learning and AI in telco, and even we can offer it to the developers to build a real use cases of AI. Finally, for sure, we are going to apply a full CID across the life cycle, especially focus on the day two operations. However, as we speak today, there are some key gaps that we are trying to solve together with our operators and vendors and partners. For example, the use of the converged SDN, similarly, day two management, testing frameworks, distributed architecture between VNFM, VIM, SIM, and between, for example, the APIs in the form of REST or Helm, or how it will actually we can do further coherence. Building a profitable 5G is very important as we scale in the post COVID-19 economy. Uh, Frankly speaking, this is my real definition of my job to bring the dollar value from the technology. In the recent years, we have pumped a lot of money in cloud and tried many combinations. However, still we find a number of challenges around dollarization. Large scale delivery of 5G requires both technical and sourcing issues to be addressed. For example, we are looking forward use of innovators, suppliers, and new technology disruptors, along with obviously the bigger vendors. It will require us change in the delivery models, inhibit the flat fee, and we move towards clone and scale. Then similarly, the KQI and SQI based delivery and software based delivery, limiting the touch points, human touch points along the loop is very important to reduce the costs. And defining the MVP instead of using the like hundreds of features which we never know, never use over time. We are of the view that as 5G is scaling, we need to bring further opening the market to the new partners and obviously hyperscalers with their telco offerings. We think it's very important for the innovation of the market. However, we think market cannibalization by players impedes both growth and innovation. That is why we value cooperation among all players more than competition. Building a global supply chain will enable us best to serve our customers in different markets and equip us with the best solution where needed. Taking a view of telco, we as telco own the edge and the infrastructure in the last mile. And we have unmatched advantages in terms of latency, identity, quality, and connectivity on the NAS solutions. If I look at the hyperscalers, their global scale for compute storage, similarly, full automation and AI and DevOps and the developer experience make them simply outclass us. Now we are working together with both our vendors, ISVs, and hyperscalers to realize best of both worlds. Selling a hyperscaler box on-prem with telco network functions and offload the IT applications on public cloud is something that will deliver both score, scale, and the customer value. And this is where we are working deeply. About the vision of the network, we think the future network is a fully distributed cloud, which is multi-cloud and in certain cases a multi-operator connectivity is going to be a new standard. Such networks will require to offer differentiated service to different verticals and emphasis on the infrastructure homogeneity, orchestration, use of AI, end-to-end testing, and connectivity is going to be a very vital. We want to approach build of such distributed networks along two streams. The first is the definition of the model of the application. For sure, today cloud native is going to become a new standards driving and guiding us along the way, and it will not only help us to launch the new services using the concepts of slicing and automation and AI, but for sure the open data platforms and common data lakes will help us to launch new and new use cases using machine learning and AI. The other direction is obviously the NAS or the connectivity. This is something we have been doing for many decades, and we are heavily investing on NSM and software-defined SDDC technologies to make it work in a YAML style. Use of software solution for networking will mean future many layer 3 network functions can be built using the pure part description file. That is very important direction to focus on now. When it comes to 5G scales and we don't talk about RAN and transport, I mean, that is a kill, right? We think open RAN and network disaggregation at the edge is going to be a mainstream in the next 2 years in the region. And it will really help us to optimize our TCO. However, to build such networks, we need a fundamental paradigm shift from what we have built recently in the form of central clouds. What is the definition of platform in the constrained environment? That is not a cattle ranch anymore. RAN and last mile service requirements. What is the real RAN service? What, because this is something I think as cloud guys we have never investigated in the 3GPP and the detail and the bits and the air interface. Baseband performance is going to be a big impact of how we will commercialize the technology. Definition of the common reference model and specs in different flavors. As we know today, the RAN sites, indoor, outdoor, rural, in building, IBS, there's different things. So we need to really homogenize the whole solution and specs of the platform along that. RAN automation and use of data is vital for large scale adoption of 5G. 5G transport is very, very important as well. We cannot just build a Ethernet transport and make it, but we need to see, for example, the hybrid transport using CPRI, eCPRI. Networking is going to be a top importance, and decoupling of the interfaces with 4G, X2XN is also something that we are really looking forward. Where we are now, during the last several months, we have done a decent progress by involving cross-function teams and partners and active participation in the community like 5G RAN, SA3, Tape Open RAN, looking forward in the ORAN specification closely. From the infrastructure side, we think the platform is ready. For example, GPU, FPGAs, VDUs, ASICs for certain higher splits is ready, right? And but we still think the performance on the baseband it requires further acceleration, and that needs further innovation as well as standardization. especially on the higher bands, FDD and the mixed use of TDD and FTD. POC for interface testing between ORAN and 3GPP. This is something we are really looking forward to address. Transport cost of the Open RAN at the lower split, like option 7, is not very cost effective, and that we really need to move toward the higher splits towards the like option 2 to option 3. Similarly, operation and automation is very important on the RAN side, like RIC and this type of initiative. In the next 6 to 12 months, we intend to approach the market by involving the community in the Open RAN and to define an operator blueprint and doing an RFX and to do a field trials. Channelization of the SI partners in RAN is very important in a market driven by the top three telcos. So we really need to see how to select who will align with the vision of openness, and we are able to take the RAN integration. About the edge, we think that the edge is mature now, and most of the use cases will be put to fruition in the next 12 to 24 months. The edge is a big change. It is something that will impact the society hugely, something like internet done in the 1990s. However, in order to build some smart edge business cases, we need to bring together not only open source SDO hyperscaler governance parties, but the developer community itself. Offer them what they really expect from us. We think that when we think about edge, we need to think around different streams. The first and most important thing for telco is the 3GPP. We think with 3GPP release 16, now most of the specs around the latency and the broadband use cases of the edge is ready now, right? For example, the use of the time sensitive networking, 5G LAN to offer different options, the backhauling on the radio sites and NPN, network slicing, obviously, and the NAS solutions. For sure, these are something which can really make in the 5G this edge a positive initiative to take. Then it comes to about the connectivity models. We all know that with the proliferation of the edge, all the connectivity types like on the access Wi-Fi, 4G, 5G, cloud, public, private, hybrid, scaled out version of the applications, all need to work for different customers in different scenarios. Similarly, we need to invest and understand on the business models. For edge, the use of B2X and SaaS models for a developer is going to be a key. So the initiative like GSMS C-band is something very important to make this initiative and make edge successful. Finally, we must attract the developer to our infrastructure. So end-to-end slicing, developer onboarding, and orchestration and testing is going to be a very vital. Our experience with the developers is that we must give them a complete end-to-end working solution, including testing. We cannot give them hundreds of softwares and solutions and with no guarantee that it will work with the same SLAs, same KPIs end to end. Excuse me, when we talk about 5G orchestration, we think it's principally quite different from its earlier generation of orchestration and end-to-end orchestration prevalent in our existing virtualization and NFV worlds. Without going into further details, because this is a complete 1 hour debate, I guess, we really need to see in terms of building blocks where we need to focus more. The first and most important is the use of the hybrid network building blocks. So VNF today, tomorrow there is CNF, PNF, inventory, ITFs, all needs to be integrated. Too much abstraction is not good. It lowers performance. So homogeneity between the VNF and the CNF models, especially our Sol 1.4 is very important, and we are seeing a lot of progress and vendors interest along this direction. Then to run anything around AI and machine learning is very important to build a common data lake and Kafka for the data observability. Use of all type of hybrid platforms is a must. And finally, RAN intelligence and enable the use of the ML and AI is going to be a very important. We think evolution to the HC ZSM and closed loop AI is required today, not tomorrow, else 5G can never scale and deliver its real promise. When it comes to use of AI in 5G, the value of data shifting always moving up the pipe. And we are trying to really understand if data of 5G can be monetized in a regulated market, then the service can be very cheap, maybe free someday. Bringing AI to 5G is not important just for network quality and operations, adjusting the antenna tails and optimization of the network. We have to think in a new way which we can sell the connectivity of 5G. But it will require change of the mindset from the infrastructure, server, and storage to a more aggressive model like managed services provided as an open API connector, and similarly a SaaS offering to different verticals to let them consume the data from the 5G. That is right, together with Overcard, today our main focus is can we implement a very complex service process in an automated way using AI, where a data will make a decision in a real time based on data, avoiding the human loop. There are four main streams where we are really trying to see over time. First is the life cycle of management of the whole infrastructure. We are combining both real-time utilization and inventory to make intelligent decisions. Automation of this and integration of the application layer analysis is very important. It's something happening in IT, but not in telco, right? This is something that is really important to address. Then automation end to end to optimize and push the policies to the end device, especially on RAN and transport. It's very important. End-to-end slicing, once it is, I mean, ready to production, this I think will definitely help us. Finally, the advanced use of AI, for example, build new network topology, workload placement, SLA, compliance, and verification in different POPs in the network. That is something uh, that will really make 5G a success. About networking, we all know networking and open networking has become more and more important in the 5G world as we are trying to scale, especially because our customers require a NAS, complete NAS connectivity and SDCC connectivity. SDN today, we have hardened and stabilized after a lot of testing and field trials, and we think this is something really carrier grade, but for sure not scalable in a 5G. So we really need to make a transition from SDN today to where we want to achieve the SDN of tomorrow. I think depending on the market embrace on the technology and where on the particular operator is on its learning curve, there are different paths. We, for example, we can invest on the open source or ONF based networking where a compute can work as both the server and switch at the same time, making the TOR and the top of rack switching quite nimble. Or we can move toward a disaggregated and a massive scale type of solution. This is something already happening now. However, we think that following standards and evolution direction of our existing legacy SDN with cloud native platforms and focus more on the data and telemetry is very important because we are really looking forward to often the connectivity, NAS, and security and analytics on the network. And this direction certainly it requires further understanding and clarification, but this will mature over time. We really think this will help us in a fully disaggregated era of 2023 plus, where all the SDN functions can be combined in the form of CRDs or software plugins in the platforms, something we are heavily relying on the NSN. I think we need to follow this way, along with flexibility using third-party CNI, where all the legacy and future solutions can be integrated over time. Benchmarking historically has been something where many guys tell you issues but no clear solution. However, with CNTT latest product release, especially on the RM and RC, and a clear alignment from the GSMA on OITF, we are on the right road to define a gold standard applications. As per our latest survey and collaboration of both inside and external stakeholders, we really think building a test platform that can serve both VNF and CNF, and similarly build the test execution tool framework is the hour of the need. However, we really think that there are some top challenges that we want to grab and apply a stepwise solution. The top challenges are mainly around the VNF resource modeling, around the like the features of the VNF itself, networking capabilities, telemetry, DevOps. For this, we really want to approach in a priority-wise steps. For example, first we need to really see about the like the use of the DevOps in the telco, which is the fully automated infrastructure following by onboarding and test. Then we need to see really the validation and benchmarking of all those solutions, following by the cohesiveness between ITSI standards for this VNF and the CNF. We still think networking and storage is something that really needs to elaborate further, especially in the CNF context. We don't want to touch the cloud native or CNF code, but to bring acceleration downstream on the network device or on the storage itself. So further work on the standards and the specs is will be required. On the hardware side, it is very important to do the infrastructure management using common APIs such as Redfish, and we are, I think, the latest release of ODIM. I think hardware infrastructure issues are gonna, I mean, quite addressed. On CNTT side, I think mapping between the specs and the CNCF conformance is the key, and STC really want to contribute on security, storage, and networking aspects in this important transition. Finally, we need to lead from the application-based delivery to an infrastructure-led delivery. Reject partners that do not qualify as VNF KPIs is not enough anymore. About security, we all know we want to talk about security, but some talk optimistic, some pessimistic. We really want to view it in a phased approach because this is true despite whatever is the security efforts in the open clouds, right? The cyber crooks continue to find its way to unscrupulously join networks with the pirated information. We firmly believe in the era of cloud, finally security will be better than the legacy systems, primarily as we can apply proactive security and fraud detection mechanisms, right? And apply a more innovative approaches that are prevalent in the software world, like Blue Red Army, Chow's Monkeys. But in telco, such adventures can be very dangerous. Currently, as we see in the 5G networks, network service mesh is handling certain promises on the security and the traffic analysis, load balancing, and optimizations that are certainly helping us secure our networks with an SLA. We have the control plane CNFs like NSSF, AUSF, UDMs, where we are applying the network service mesh HTO. Whereas on the access side, CNFs like AMF, SMF, and others, proxyless service mesh is, I think this vision will help us. However, still we believe the detailed specs on the 3GPP, SA3, and security and ITSI specs are not very detailed and normative, but certainly this is a good starting point. How we want to approach it in the hybrid, we think there is a need for a more clear definition of a shared responsibility model between different players. And then we think the depth specs on the TSR, ITSI, cloud, and governance aspects need to be further hardened. And new models, especially on the protection of the data governance and observability. Finally, security certification online, let's say by third party or developers. So the definition of KPI is very important. Today, there are certain features of 5G which we think are giving a clear security advantages, not just API or HTTP2 based security. For example, securing a multi-cluster environment with the hybrid cloud, end-to-end SDCC, SDDC, right? Similarly, network security using network service mesh, endpoint protection using the multi-TLS and distributed TLS, monitoring and observability using the ODB data models. Similarly, hyperledgers using Concord and other initiatives, and the platform attestation. When it comes about the operations of the network, I think the key thing we want to achieve in 5G networks, can I upgrade my network multiple times a day? So there are four main parameters along which we really want to address. The first thing is the abstraction, where we really think today the platforms and the community effort like Captain and Crossplane and hybrid multi-cloud are helping us out. Following by the service mesh for the connectivity and NAS. Then it comes the observability and CI/CD. For sure, there the open data platform, Argo, Tectron. Are some community projects hardened by our partners where we really see the ball moving. Finally, about the upgrades, the rolling upgrades, Canary and digital twin. That is a very important direction to achieve. Just last line before I wrap up, I think it's very important that we need to align our technology vision with our responsibility as a global citizen. And this is to promote a solution that can improve in the energy efficiency and towards a more greener and leaner environment. There are some certain challenges that we really want to address through a immutable infrastructure. For example, we don't want a fully loaded infrastructure, but load only for what is required. So balance between NIC, CPU, RAM, this is very important. Removing the zombie loads through the intelligent and the data-driven operations, and unify the architectures of software, move something in of the infrastructure to this or hardware to the software, right? Something in the DPDK and other architectures we have been trying to do in the cloud. Then monitor software using another software. This is again a chicken and problem. So the key point here is we want to make the network more scalar, more horizontal, and removing some blocks if it is not required, right? And day two service tear down on the fly is very important issue to achieve this. Finally, the time to wrap up. The key lessons, what we learned and what we really want to approach is first is build your own solutions. Cloud is about flexibility. It is about tuning. It is about defining your MVP and automation. This is something you can simply cannot copy and paste because each market, each segment, each user has its own requirements. Infrastructure homogeneity is the biggest lesson from hyperscalers, and that is a very important vision to achieve. We really need to see the applications are aligned to this and we are able to evaluate it. Monetization of cloud, very important to see, make it profitable. Then journey towards, I think edge and network disaggregation requires a common delivery model of 5G with open RAN, edge, and the open networks. Everything must be software defined. That is very important if we have to scale the network and open services to verticals and the enterprises. Finally, day two operations is a real use case of DevOps, and we need to get rid of some architectures which are not really delivering the value, and security is going to be the key. Thank you very much. I think I have talked more time. If any questions, just come back to me. I will be very happy to hear your feedback and to contribute and optimize over time. Thank you very much.